Right. How many of you would like to be a good leader in whatever area that you think you're going to be? How many of you would like to be better than good? There's another level, probably a few other levels, but let's do one more. How many of you wouldn't mind to be great at leading other people? Great at leading other people. This is entirely possible because we can learn this stuff. Okay, now how many of you would like to learn how to do this tonight? Okay, you're going to be sadly disappointed because it takes a lifetime. Tonight we will take one or two first steps. Is that all right? Okay, first steps. Very good. Can we start over here on my left, because that's being Bigfoot. If I start on the right, I will get shot. Right? On the left. Clearly, there's a rule here that I now have learned. We start on the left. This group, you were a group, right? Okay, so give us a little bit of what was discussed. What are the qualities of a leader that you think would be great? Sure.
We came up with 3 qualities, of course, 3 members.
Okay.
Now let's start ladies first, right? Okay. One of the things that a good leader should have is being responsible.
Being responsible.
Being responsible.
You all can hear?
Yes.
Okay.
And the second criteria a good leader should have is being confident.
Okay.
And thirdly, a good leader should be able to look after his subordinates.
Okay, so responsible, thank you. Responsible, confident, and be able to take care of the people under him or her. Did you discuss reasons why? Why should a good leader be responsible, actually? Why should a good leader be responsible?
Well, when I was in college, one of my classmates intended to set up a student council representative. And after he set up the student council representative, and our classmate intended to have a prom night for our coming graduation ceremony. And he has, we have presidents, vice presidents, and all the committees. And he totally do nothing about the prom night, and he just talk and do nothing.
Oh, okay, so this is a story about how someone was irresponsible.
Yeah. So as the
But my question was, why did they be responsible?
okay, because if you are the one who set up the club and you totally don't responsible to what you intend to set up for the club, and what's the point of setting up the club?
Will there be a lot of disappointment?
Yeah.
Will there be anger?
Yes.
Will there be hate?
Yes.
Okay. These are good reasons why you need to be responsible. Huh? Thank you. These are good reasons why. By the way, if you're in sales, or if you have to persuade anybody, if you understand what just happened, you will understand sales. Sometimes it's not about listing down the benefits of your product or service. Sometimes it's about telling them the pain they will avoid. The pain. If you are not like that, if you don't use this product or service, this is the pain. Hey, would you rather do something for the pleasure of it or to avoid pain? You have to ask yourself. Most people, pleasure is great. Ice cream, everything, it's great. But to avoid pain, this is the bigger motivator. If you want psychology, if you want to understand how to persuade, you talk about the pain that they will experience if they do not follow this whatever it is that you're recommending. The pain of hatred, anger, disappointment, that's tremendous pain if you're not responsible. Okay? So, for those of you who think you have to be positive all the time, I've just been very negative. Why? Because it works. It's reality. It's reality. It works. Okay, thank you. Very nice. Jimmy and Bernard, what did you guys share?
Okay, actually Bernard says that passion is the most important.
Right.
And
Passion, huh?
Yeah.
Was Bernard specific about, the kind of passion? Because I've got many many types of passion.
Passion to leads, because nowadays, everything was very complicated, and humans are very tough to satisfy. So we need passion as a fuel to move forward to these people.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I think passion is a great point. Well, did you have another one?
Yes.
Okay.
The other one is we need to lead by example, by bringing the team together instead of just instructing people to do what you want.
So here, I think we will talk about this later on, right? Thanks for bringing it up. People give instructions, but they do not follow, they're not able to act on their own instructions, for example. So they're not leading by example. This is a very interesting one because there can be real problems if people have expectations of the leader like this. Now, sorry, the first point you said just now was what? That piqued my interest now. What was the first point you said just now?
Passion.
Passion. Okay. Is it? Can we put, as an exercise, put this passion into the negative form in terms of pain? What happens when you don't have passion? Just as a way of perspective, okay? What happens when you, because he's only presented a case of passion. Yeah, you've got to be passionate. But what happens if you don't have passion? And you know why I'm asking you now? Because when I look around clubs, I don't see passion everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't see passion everywhere. Yes, we can prescribe it. We can prescribe passion as a solution. But what happens when the leadership is not passionate? That is a good question. It is a good question. Okay, thanks for bringing that up. Very nice. Was it you too?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have something.
Well, a good leader should have happiness and equality, and John, he came up with actually you need to grow some guts and talk.
Okay. Yeah, it's a point worth bringing up eventually. Happiness and equality, interesting. We'll talk about this perspective, okay? Happiness and equality. Good leadership, just a raise of hands. A happy leader and someone who believes in equality. Raise of hands who thinks that's a really good idea. Okay, we don't have many hands, we have one hand, 2 hands. Oh, no, that's not a hand, that's a hair thing. So either they're undecided or they disagree. How many disagree that happiness and equality are necessary for good leadership? Talking about a leader now. You disagree, you agree, you disagree. It's great. So there's at least one that disagrees. Disagree. Wow, okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Because for most meetings that I go to, it's all about, half the speeches are about how to be happy. You know what I mean? and yet some of you have the opinion that happiness is not a prerequisite to successful leadership. Question is why? Why? Why isn't it, do you think?
The word is never clear.
Sorry?
I mean, if you say about equality, it means that, let's say, for me, is let's say I same team with this person and I work even more than the other person, but our target is being shared. So it won't. She wants us to be happy, but actually it will create unequality. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a natural unfairness just because how is it perfectly possible to divide 50-50, right? It just isn't. And some of us are tuned into, hey, how come she or he not pulling their weight? And how many of you have been in a position where the other person didn't pull their weight? How many of you were the other person? I've been in relationships, serious relationships for 30 years. I've been the other person. There have been times where I didn't pull my weight. And you know what happened to the relationship? As a direct result of one person not pulling their weight, I mean, you can imagine. You can imagine what happened. You can imagine what happened. So equality, but what he's saying is equality is a necessary, is a good thing. Okay? Which is also what you're saying, Mark. Okay, you're saying equality is a good thing. You should have it, no? Gurmit, you don't think equality or happiness is necessary for good leadership?
Yeah, I think for a leader to be a good leader, he needs to have channel his anger into something he's passionate about. And if you're happy about everything, nothing gets done sometimes.
Who's been following the U.S. presidential race? Not really.
Yeah.
Who has heard of the two candidates that are up for presidency? Hillary Clinton and who's the monkey? Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump. If I was American, I wouldn't vote for Hillary lah. Okay, let's put it that way. They're both probably insane in their own way. Which looks the happier candidate on TV? Hillary. She's all smiles, which means only one thing to me. I can't trust her. You see politicians all smiles, huh? You trust them? Then you receive the bill 2.6, you know. It's true, right? Happiness is great, okay, but it's a personal thing. When it comes to leadership, while it's nice that we work with people, so yes, it's personal, but actually it's results oriented. It has to be. Otherwise, you all get together for what? I mean, results have to be up there, like in the priorities, if not the top priority. Okay? So happiness shouldn't really be a top priority. If it is, then that means the results have to go down. So standards also can drop. Quotas not achieved. Didn't get all the DCP points. In fact, got only half a point. Why? Because the club is so damn happy, you know. In the end, not happy anymore.
No progress.
Yeah. Happiness, I tell you one thing, I'm 52, okay? And if there's one thing I learned about happiness, is that happiness is not a result of a Facebook posting, okay? That is a feel-good, that's not happiness. Happiness is a result of achieving something. You achieve it, happy, no? Happy. Okay, that's my take. Very nice, thank you. Gurmit, why C? Why C? How?
So we come out with different, I think 5 elements. Even we are 2 persons.
Okay. pick a big one. Oh, pick 1 or 2 big ones and see how.
Stay calm.
Stay calm.
Stay calm. Okay.
Good decision maker.
I like both of them. I particularly like good decision. Tell us about the good decision. What's that about? Why does a leader need to make good decisions? And should the decisions be timely or can take time just so that it's good? I mean, what do you think?
Because when you are leader, that means you lead group of people. So different people will come up with different ideas.
Yeah.
So when come to this 50-50 situation, then it's the leader who need to make the decision so that your team can move forward.
Okay. Okay. Do you understand what he just said?
Yes.
Okay, so from what I get, we're talking about a situation where a decision needs to be made that's going to affect everybody.
Yeah.
And now, you all understand that decisions for the club, or indeed for work, whatever, do not necessarily have to be democratically made.
Yeah.
But what he's describing is a situation where everyone has input. So maybe there's some kind of democracy. And then the leader must make how many have been in a situation like this? Are these good situations usually, or actually quite difficult?
Bad.
They're quite bad, huh? Yeah, automatically it says bad. I have experienced bad luck with this as well. Democratic situations where everyone has input is bad. I'm not saying it's not bad, but it's not the fastest way to make a decision, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, in a way it is bad. You know why it's bad? Okay, you don't know why. Because decisions made by committee, in other words, decisions made by a group, will result in average or below par, average or below quality decisions. You know why? There's a psychological reason for this. It happens every single time. Why? Because he is wondering and he's going to make his vote and his decision based on what he thinks he is going to base his decision on and what they are going to base it. Everyone is thinking, oh, I need to kind of vote in the middle because then I would be with the biggest group. Okay? So the orange not so sweet? This one we approve. Our company sell orange, not so sweet orange. Why? Because committee made decision. This is the perfect orange, not so sweet one. That's what happens. It is, thanks for bringing up that point. That's a very valuable point because there is underlying psychology when group decisions are made. Thank you. I'm going to come back to this point a little later on because we've talked about the democratic way and how it can be bad. I will talk about the opposite way and how that way also can be bad. All right? We'll do that in a minute. Okay, let's go to the next pair. Now, the names, hello, what's your name?
Paul.
Paul,
Yeah.
okay. Paul and Siu Chu.
Yeah.
I know Siu Chu is on the motorbike on Facebook, is that right?
Previously.
Posing, previously, okay.
Previously.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay, Paul and Siu Chu, give us one or two things.
Okay, we both actually come out the same idea. She said about principle. Leadership must have a principle.
Yeah.
And what I mentioned is must have a own point of view.
Yeah.
So it's just like a captain in a ship. He must have a direction. If without a direction, I mean, subordinate will don't know where we want to go. We're not there to.
Do you hear the analogy he's making here? The metaphor. As a leader, you are the captain of a ship. As captain, who decides when to turn? Captain. So if you think the analogy is correct, then this will be part of your mindset, and part of your attitude towards decisions and things like that. Okay? So thank you, that's a very important point. Captain of the ship. If the club does not know who's the captain, as in they do not feel that for example, not every president is suitable to be captain. It's their opportunity to be captain. It's their opportunity to be captain, but it doesn't mean they're suitable to be captain. But we let them grow now, because that's Toastmasters. We let them grow into it. Okay, so that's fine. But at the end of the day, that person must grow into captaincy. If you don't grow into captaincy, then he misses opportunity. Okay, it's a big deal. Really a big deal. And the same goes for whatever other leadership positions are. Thank you. That's very important. At the back, Jesslyn. It's nice to meet you. I used to know this girl called Peggy. Very nice girl. Don't know what happened to her.
Okay, we have three persons in mind.
Okay, 3. Right.
So start from him. He's
Count us lah, 5 lah.
for him is motivate.
Okay, motivate.
Yeah.
Motivate. Okay.
Okay, myself is I would think that attitude is the most important.
Attitude, yes.
And for our ladies is courage.
Courage. Motivate, attitude, courage. You know what? How many of you think that a leader can actually be multi-dimensional? Can have more than one dimension, more than one characteristic, more than one quality? Yeah. Yeah. So you know, there could be a case where you have all 3, just to make no happy lives. No, but it's true. Okay? Yeah. Just because you're a leader doesn't mean you pick only one. You can be multi-dimensional. Question is how you use it, how you balance. Just because you can play violin doesn't mean you play violin at everything you do. You know what I mean? Okay. Please don't. Violin is horrible. Mindy and Ziz? Zim?
Oh, okay.
Zim. Yes.
Let me present. So I
Yes.
will only have 2 of us. So at first, Mindy have his idea about a good leader supposed to be persuasive power. So for my view, it's positive thinking. My definition of positive thinking means you have to take care of other people rather than you will be selfish and be yourself. A lot of leaders listen to me only, and then a lot of things for himself. I don't think so. That kind of positive is correct.
That one is positive for himself.
That's why you have to.
The bank balance positive for himself.
A lot of leaders, everything talk about himself.
Not a lot, only one leader like that.
Yes,
Everyone
2.6
mentions.
million also belongs to him.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot what Mindy's point was.
Persuasive.
Oh, persuasive.
Persuasive. Okay.
That's an interesting word. What did she say about that?
Okay. Basically, according to her, as a leader, you have to persuade your subordinate or your group or team member, some sort of convince them willing to do rather than dictator.
Ah, okay. Rather than dictator.
Dictator.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you all think of that? What do you think of that point?
Persuade.
Yes. To that a leader, that a good quality is that a leader is persuasive, as opposed to shouting the instruction and forcing people. You think that's a good idea?
Sometimes you need to force.
It's interesting that depending on the tone of my question, you will determine the answer. You all think that's a good idea, is it? So, you don't think it's a good idea? I'll tell you what, by the way, thank you everyone for sharing what you think great leadership is. Are these the things that you want in your leadership? Of the club, for example?
Yes.
Do you want quite a lot of things that you've heard tonight, do you want that in your club leadership?
Yes.
How about if you were the leader of whatever it is in your life? Would you want some of the things that you shared tonight and that you heard? Okay, good. You're all very good at teaching yourself. It's very good. Really good. So these are, I would say, are to different degrees, they're very, very important. These are the elements of great leadership, of any leadership. Tonight I'm going to very quickly, and after I share with you, I'm going to sit down, okay, because we don't have any time to do a workshop on how to do it. Okay, but I'm going to share with you the one secret of all leadership. Good and bad, or maybe not so much bad, but one secret of all, the one thing that all leaders need to have. They must have the basic elements, okay? They must be able to, do you think one of the basic elements would be to communicate? Yeah, okay. How about to delegate?
Yes.
How about to be committed?
Yes.
How about to have integrity?
Yes.
Yes. So these are basics, okay? Basics. And there's more, okay? Depending on which website you look at, there's more. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that I do not find on these websites. And it is the one thing that I feel, if a leader doesn't have it, you could have all the basics, all of them, still cannot achieve result. Is that true? You could have the most integrity, you could be the most honest, you could be the best delegator, you could be you could be a great communicator, but somehow still is it possible still not to achieve all the DCP points that you want?
Yes.
It's still possible, right? Totally possible. And I ask myself, why? Why do this Inc. and Entrepreneur and Forbes and all, why don't they mention this one thing?
Can I guess the answer?
Yes, you can.
People.
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 I tell you what, that's half of the answer. But we'll talk about in what respect, okay? In what respect? But what I ask myself, why don't these things mention? Is it they didn't mention it because it doesn't exist? Because my thinking is wrong. My thinking is never wrong, that's what I found out. It's also never completely right. But sometimes you get the gut feeling that something is missing, and you are right, and you're right. And if you feel that, you must follow that. So my feeling that these websites were missing out on the one thing that I think every leader must be able to do. It's a skill set, which of course is related to the mindset, but it's a skill set. One thing, and that is to persuade. Persuade. If you can persuade, that is the definition of leading. You can hold a leadership title. You can have all the basic elements, You can have degrees in the basic elements, PhDs in the basic elements of leadership. But if you can't persuade people to do something, how? Are you leading anybody? You're not. You're a theoret. You're in the theory of it. That's it. You know the theory of it. If you can't get people to move from A to B in terms of results, yeah, get a ribbon for her, okay? What I mean is tie her up so she don't make noise, okay? Yeah, no, if you can't shift your group your children, your family, your team at work, your Toastmasters club, if you can't shift them from where they are now to where you see them in the future, right? The vision that you have for them, then what's the point? In terms of being a leader? Captain of the ship must go somewhere, right? I am. Okay, you must steer, yes. Avoid the rocks, yes. Okay. But must go somewhere. Have to. Without persuasion, you can't sell. I mean, you can force luck. You can blackmail them. You know, you can say, hey,
Give money. Follow me.
But if we talk about the actual skill of getting someone to comply with a request, now this is persuasion. How is persuasion different from manipulation? We'll talk about persuasion more, but how is it different from manipulation? Just so that we get the manipulation thing out of the way. Is it the same thing? Because manipulation is kind of a bad word, right? It is a bad word. It's getting people to do things by tricking them up. By tricking them into doing things. Now, persuasion is interesting now because, you know what, if you understand psychology, you know one of the things you'll understand about human beings? All predictable. Very, very predictable. Which means, if you understand how to trigger, you will get a result. Which sounds a bit like manipulation. But there's one big difference. One very big difference. And this is the difference that every leader must have. This is not the secret to great leadership, but without this mindset, no point having the skill set of persuasion. Skill set, persuasion is skill set, it's a communication skill, okay? How you say what you say. How you structure what you say. This is the persuasion skill set. The thing that precedes the skill set is the mindset. And this is the and I thank you for bringing up attitude, because mindset is attitude. This is the mindset of a great leader. The leader, I'll give you a choice, okay? Which one is greater? The leader that doesn't respect the free will of his people, or the leader that respects the free will of his people?
Leader that respect free will.
Respects the free will of his people. Respect the free will of your people. In other words, if you're in a leadership position, respect that the other person is allowed to say no or yes or whatever. They're allowed to, you know. Because they have a brain. Okay, sometimes their brain maybe not developed. Well, that's okay. But you still must have the respect for it. Now, the question is, how does this respect work, you know? Because there's degrees of respect. There are many ways to show respect. And just because we live in Malaysia, just because we bow and kowtow and kiss everyone's feet, doesn't mean that's respect, okay? Okay? Doesn't mean that's respect. What do you think this respect is? When you say to respect the free will of everyone, what do you think that really is? Is it where we say, in public, we say good things about people? I think to a certain degree, yes. You know, to a certain degree, it's nice when someone, you know, when I'm introduced, he says good things about me. That's nice. That's respectful. That's also respectful not just of me, but it's respectful of you. Why? Because you're sitting here. So why would you not want someone who's good at whatever, right? You want that. That's respectful. But is there such a thing as being overly or falsely respectful?
Yeah.
Or there is? That means angkat, is it?
Yeah.
Angkat, you all understand now? This is the false respect, huh? This is the false respect. So as a leader, you must understand where your balance is. You know, you must be honest. Okay, but doesn't mean you tell all his dirty laundry. You know, doesn't mean you tell all the dirty stories about his family. Okay, but you must be honest with people. Okay, you find the balance. You find the balance. With the mindset, I'll come back to this one. You mentioned democratic choice, right? And this is where the respect comes in. Respect for the free will. Okay, so some leaders will go, all right, I'm the dictator here, and you all must. Okay, this person has respect for your free will? No, doesn't have. So this is not what you want to be. Okay? Then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the leader that goes, okay, everybody, we're going to have to vote and choose. No? I want you all to And then on the WhatsApp, now we do by WhatsApp group. This one, we're going to have a meeting on such and such a time. Then one person says, oh, I have a wedding dinner. Oh, okay, so we change to the next day. Oh, I have to. Democratic. Everyone must be happy. Democratic, somehow it has been translated into everybody must be happy. It's not at all. Democratic doesn't mean everyone must be happy. What does democratic mean actually?
Go for majority. What?
It means majority. Essentially, it means we go for the majority. Okay. So sometimes, as a leader, you must say to your group, okay, you draw the line up. Okay, we're gonna go for the majority here, or whatever the situation is. We're gonna go. We're gonna go for deadline to say you cannot go for the meeting is 8 o'clock tonight. So get in your excuses by then. All right. Or you draw the line. You don't give people so much respect that you don't tell them that they are stepping out of line, holding everyone back. If someone is holding everyone back, as a leader, you withdraw your respect and you tell them straight. You understand what I mean? If someone is holding people back, or someone is stepping out of line in a way that is, you see is bad for, in other words, they're making the boat tilt to one side, eventually it's going to crash. You have to do the correction. Captain cannot say, oh, you all dancing all on one side of the boat. It's quite nice, it's okay. Then half an hour later, whole thing sink. You must make that call. You must draw the line. So respect, yes. Respect everyone's free will. But don't necessarily give in. That doesn't mean you give in to everyone. Okay, you got to call it. That's the mindset. The skill set, the ability to persuade. There's a couple more things. Someone mentioned passion. Passion, right? Passion. This is basic. A leader has to care about the project. Has to care about the group. In terms of priority, I'd say the project. You decide, okay. But for me, it'll be the project. The group, yes, of course, you want to keep the group together. But the group is not a, we love each other group, okay? I mean, it might be, I don't know. But if you have objectives to meet, then objectives have to be king. Somehow, you have to put them up high. They have to be king. Care, all right? Care, you must care. You know what? You think other people are going to care about the project more than you? If they see their leader doesn't care, guess what? They also don't care. They also late for the meeting. They also whatever. I know. They say the problems that you see with the hotel staff is because of management's thinking. You know what I mean? Management's thinking. Problem will come down, and the customer cannot. Yes. Vision for the future. As a leader, you must be able to describe what the end is going to look like. At the end of my term as president, I see this. I see this for my members' development. I see this for the club, the number of members in the club. I see this for DCP points or whatever it happens to be. You must be able to see. If you can't, I was at a meeting once. 4 ladies, talking about politics at work and how they want to have equality at work. Females, plus 1 guy. The guy is a bit like a woman. 5 ladies, okay? They talk for an hour and a half. An hour and a half. What about politics at work? And the question was, how do we address the wage gap? How do women earn, how do we make it so that women can earn the same as men? Which is a good question, right? It's a good question. But at the end of the 1.5 hours, I said, hey, can I just ask a question which I think I've been having in my head since the very first 5 minutes. So I said, okay. So I said, tell me, what does the world look like when you achieve your equality? What does it look like? When everything is equal, what does the workplace look like? You know what answer they gave me? No answer. No one knew. No one imagined what this place looked like. They couldn't do it. So I went away disappointed because I have to imagine myself. But I wanted to hear it from them because they're activists and they're fighting for this. They're trying to get this in Penang. They're trying to get this sorted out in Penang, which is great. But they didn't have a vision. So if I were to, wanting to follow a group that's active in this, I kind of wouldn't choose them as the leaders. They had no vision. No vision. So you don't have a vision, guess what? Or you have a plan but no vision, what the hell? You know, it's insane, you know. These things all must have. You gotta care for the project. You gotta have vision. You gotta know what you want it to be like when it's over. Whether you achieve that, I don't know, but and then you can have a plan. If you have these things, and you have the mindset of you understand the balance between democratic voices and no, we're going to do this. You understand the balance there, and you're able to persuade. You're set for some really great stuff. Really, there's nothing else that you need. I mean, I know some of you have like you're taking leadership path and all that, and there's many things to learn. Okay, but I don't know if there's one about persuasion. And if there isn't, then go back to CC9 and redo. Oh, there you go. Very persuasive. Yeah, thank you. And are there any? Is there a last question about leadership? Yes.
Can you give us how to differentiate between motivation and persuasion?
Okay. What do you think of motivation? I mean, when I say motivation, what's the first thing that comes to your head? Maybe there's a name, Tony Robbins, right? Okay, and guys like that. Okay, guys like that. Now, I'm not a fan, but I'm also not a critic of Tony Robbins. In other words, I've not studied his stuff. I know that he has awakened the giant and all that, but these guys are the motivators for personal development. If you ask anyone who likes that kind of stuff, what happens? If you ask Tony Robbins, what happens to 98% of the people after the workshop? Do they do and follow through with what he has done? I think the stats will tell you that within a day, a week, a month, and a year, the drop-off is, like that. So that means the ones that actually follow through are this part, the rest, because it's motivation. Because it's motivation. Motivation is, I suppose, necessary sometimes, like self-motivation. But external motivation, I'm not so sure. External motivation means someone forces you to do it. So how? Can sustain how? Yeah, difficult. So you also think, if I'm the leader, if I motivate him, how's he going to sustain it when I'm not motivating him? If he can motivate himself, we're good. If he can motivate himself, we're good. So my job is to somehow persuade him to get to that point. To persuade him. To frame things in a way which he can accept. Example of persuasion. You don't need to go to Spain this year, right? I do, but most of us don't need to go to Spain this year. Some of us would like to go to Spain, but some of us don't. It doesn't matter, okay? But someone who knows how to persuade can get you to Spain. Can. Like if I'm good friends with you, I might, if I know that Spain is like too much for you to take in, I might start by saying, hey, you and me this year we must have an adventure together, right? You will get, if it's your close friend, you'll probably get a yes. Okay, there might be some circumstances, but you'll probably get a yes. And you start from there. But if you say, hey, you and me, let's go to Spain, they're like, what? Why Spain? What's in Spain? Then you get objections, right? Objections. Persuasion is understanding the other person's position and addressing it. So if I think that my friend wants to have an adventure in his life, wants to have a life of adventure, I will start with this one. Now you know how to say it. Hey, let's have an adventure. Can he say no? If he says no, slap him. So persuasion is understanding the other person's position and structuring your idea, taking their position into your frame. The picture that you paint for them, the vision that you paint for this request. This is persuasion. It's a whole science on its own. It's a fantastic science to learn. If you want to be a leader, please go and learn how to persuade. Really. You don't bother about learning how to care. That one, either you care or you don't care. Don't bother learning about how to have a vision. That one, very fast one, you can. Don't bother learning how to plan because you'll be bored to death. Go and learn how to persuade. Learn how to frame things so that people want to move from A to B and shift, you know. And you can tell them, hey, look, I'm going on an adventure, and I think it'd be great if we plan an adventure this year. Oh yeah, what are you thinking of? You know, I'm thinking Spain, but you know, it's a long way away. But if we can do it, it'd be fantastic. Why Spain? I didn't tell why not. You know, you can get there eventually. You get there eventually. I've used my time. I hope I've used it well. Doesn't matter whether I have or not. What matters is that something was meaningful for you. Okay, that's what matters to me. That something is meaningful. I don't care whether you understand what I'm teaching. All that matters is that something that somebody said or whatever was meaningful, and that you will think about something tonight when you go home. Okay, why is I'm done?